Broadcasting live from Buffalo State College, here is The Blitz on 91.3 FM.
Welcome back to The Blitz on 91.3 FM at WBNY, 91.3 FM at WBNY, Buffalo's original alternative since 1982. 1982 brought to you by Buffalo State Student Activity Fee. My name is Evan Harrington. This is The Blitz. I got my awesome co-hosts with me today. We got Dan Dale in Studio A, and in Studio B, we got Joe Cali and Chris Giacobello. Fellas, how are we doing?
Doing all right. We're streaming again for the second time now on video. We're gonna separate Studio A and Studio B. There we go. So now they're separated, but
third divisions.
I think we're doing good. Josh McDaniels is fired. He's not a head coach anymore.
Yes.
Thank God.
Very late news reported by Adam Schefter last night.
Yes, and their GM is gone as well.
So double whammy.
Yeah, I think it's their linebacker coach, defensive backs coach, taking over.
It is their linebackers coach.
Yeah.
I'll look up the exact name to double check, but keep talking on that.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a horrible stint already as a head coach, and
25 games.
Yeah, this just adds to it. I mean, it's ridiculous. Offensive genius. No, you couldn't even get the ball rolling with a good system quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo. So Devontae Adams, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, couldn't even do anything.
Antonio Pierce, the Las Vegas Raiders have named Antonio Pierce as the interim head coach.
I'm going to say it right now. If they just had Bisaccia stay the head coach,
their special teams coordinator at
the time, they would not have. He would have been a great coach. He got that team to the playoffs after a horrible year with all that news about John Gruden and all that stuff.
Yeah, got him as an 9-7
he rallied him up. And a great
solid culture.
They had a solid culture. Derek Carr liked being there. That's the year Devontae Adams was going there. That was the Raiders he was expecting, and that's not the Raiders he got. So, and it wasn't on Derek Carr.
He just wanted to be with his friend.
And just when you talk about the Raiders' offense, so obviously they move off of Derek Carr. And Derek Carr is one of those quarterbacks that he'll get you to the playoffs, but is he good enough to win you a Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And quarterbacks like Derek Carr, it's really hard to move off from them because you're easily to get much worse at that position, but you can't really get much better.
Right.
And we saw that happen with the Raiders moving off of Derek Carr, bringing in Jimmy G, and the substantial drop-off at quarterback was very, very noticeable. And that offense has playmakers. Like, that offense has an all-pro wide receiver, Devontae Adams. You have an all-pro slot caliber type of receiver in Hunter Renfrow. A very capable outside in Jacoby Myers. An all-pro running back, the league leader in rushing yards last year, Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
You had Darren Waller, but you traded him over to New York for his third-round pick.
Yeah, not doing much better in that area.
And you're not using your all-pro slot. You're not using your all-pro top 5 receiver in the game. And you're using Jacoby Myers here and there, and you can't even get the ground game working.
I mean, it's unfortunate.
I mean, remember, one of their starting offensive linemen is Greg Van Roten. So, right as that happened, it just went all downhill.
Yeah. Listen, dumpster fire of a team this year, sorry. Dumpster fire of a coaching staff and general managing position, which now is going to be they're looking at fixing it, which hopefully this linebacker coach can come in and do what needs to be done. I don't know. What do you think, Chris? Mr. Brotherly Love, what you got?
Like you said,
Love.
Joe, it's a dumpster fire over there.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it? Josh McDaniels, I think he lasted longer as the Denver Broncos coach versus the Raiders. But yeah, it's like you said, adding on to like all those weapons they had, and then you just can't utilize it. It's like, what are you doing? You know. But we'll see if they can get it rolling with the. Who is it? Like, did they say is it an interim coach? Or
yeah, so
he's only the interim.
He'll more likely than not be the head coach until the end of the season.
Okay,
and then after that, depending on how he does, or
do they bring back Bisaccia? Do they interview Bisaccia?
I don't see why not. You know,
would he come back? Is the question after being dealt that hand?
Yeah.
I don't think he would. I think they had a chance to secure that, and they didn't do it. He very well could go be a head coach somewhere. Bisaccia, you already know he could. Do you think he will? Is the question. Not with the Raiders. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, I don't know if I wouldn't want to go back to the Raiders if I got treated like that.
No, you got passed up for a head coach who's already had a horrible reputation as a head coach, but a decent offensive coordinator, right? I mean, we saw it in New England.
I mean, maybe he finds his way back to New England.
Yeah, maybe. Well, they would be happy to have him back, I feel like, with the way that team's going. I mean, Mac Jones in his rookie year with Josh McDaniels versus now.
He's a Pro Bowl quarterback.
Yeah, well.
Made it. It's still,
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those, like, you're hiring a person for a new job and you're looking at his resume and you're like, well, that's kind of a faulty resume, but it's still on there.
Yeah, you know,
something...
cherry pickers like Nick Reich like to pick on that, by the way. And there's a clip out there of him saying, Josh Allen didn't even make the Pro Bowl in 2021. Mac Jones did. Mm-hmm. Allen passed up going to the Pro Bowl, so Mac Jones got the spot. So, and Allen also was an alternate. So multiple people passed up, right? And Mahomes went to the Super Bowl. So, and Burrow, I believe. No. Burrow, not Burrow. Mahomes went to the Super Bowl.
And Hurts or Brady.
Yeah. So, what are you going to do in that point? I guess. I don't know. But, yeah, I get it. I understand. He probably could help New England out a bunch. He's familiar with Belichick and the coaching staff. I mean, even Licky Lips Belichick Jr. on the sideline on the defense he's familiar with. So
with the mullet.
Yeah, with the mullet. Yeah, so I just can't get over watching him on the sideline, honestly.
I know.
Him just like really tonguing his lips. I'm like, what is happening right now? Why is this? Why are they zooming in on this guy? This does not need. It's like Taylor Swift. Why are we going to Licky Lips Belichick Jr.?
Okay.
You know?
Well, the thing is, the thing is, would you rather have Licky Lips Belichick getting panned on every possession, or would you rather have Taylor Swift getting panned on every possession? You got to pick one.
Okay. Here's the thing, though. There's outliers. Jackson Mahomes is trying to get in on the Taylor Swift clout.
I know.
I'm not for that.
Every week since she has been there supporting Travis Kelce, you've seen him creep in more and more on his press box.
He even got a little fist bump in there, a little finger action.
I'm pretty sure week one, or the first week that she started coming to the games, he wasn't even on camera.
He was nowhere to be seen.
Next week, he's about in the edge of the frame of the camera. The next week, he's a little closer. Then the next week, he's over Taylor's shoulder. Let's go.
Yeah, steadily gaining ground, closer to moving in on the target. I mean, Brittany Mahomes, the crowd chaser, the clout chaser, the max clout chaser, got a handshake with Taylor Swift now. You know what that's for.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I don't want to turn this show into a drama.
Listen,
fest,
Wednesdays go wild. You don't understand.
Wednesdays go wild.
Right? Wild Wednesday. That's what we deal with here, right, Dan?
Is it fair to maybe say that like maybe Brittany Mahomes got a little too much hate than she maybe deserved? Maybe she wasn't as bad.
She sprayed
as some
champagne
people.
on people in 30-degree weather.
It wasn't that great, but maybe she's a little bit better of a person than the media made her out to be.
Have you watched the quarterback series? You weren't here when I asked.
No, I didn't watch it, but
she's in it, and she's just as annoying in it as you would think.
I've heard some mixed reviews. I heard that she was okay. She's just supportive of Patrick.
Oh, supportive of Patrick. Honestly, he's supportive of her because she's part owner in the football club, the soccer team around there. So that was cool to see that. But other than that, she's like, "Come get a picture. Come get a picture." And Mahomes is like, "Man, I don't want to do this right now. Like, I want, he wants out. Like
I gotta go film my new voice track for the Muppets."
Yeah. Hey guys, your typical sneakerhead here. Let me hit another State Farm commercial. Mahomes in my auto. So I don't know.
Yeah, so obviously Wednesdays go wild, and we have a ton of looking forward to do.
This is what you've been missing.
Yeah, right. So obviously there's been a ton going on in the NFL, the NHL, the NBA world. I think first let's talk about the NFL trade deadline that wrapped up yesterday at 4 p.m. Later we'll get into the Sabres as they're set to take on the Flyers tonight.
Yeah.
And then we'll start looking at the Sunday night preview for the Bills and Bengals and a bunch of the other games going around, and a little bit of the MLB World Series going on and the NBA season, as that's about 3 or 4 games into their season now. But I want to take a quick look at the trade deadline. We'll talk about the Bills trade and how impactful that is for their team and some recent signings they had as well. But first, I want to go through the trades, and we'll kind of just throw out grades and see what your guys' thoughts are on them overall. So, Seattle received Leonard Williams. Seattle received Leonard Williams from New York, and New York received a second-round 2024 draft pick and a 2025 fifth-round draft pick for Leonard Williams. I mean, Leonard Williams, stud defensive lineman. What are your guys' thoughts on that trade?
I give that an A. I love that trade for Seattle. I mean, they really that was the first big one to really come across the screen. There were a couple fake ones yesterday, too. We'll get into that. But I was fooled in filming the Buffalonian yesterday. We reported false news. So
that's
yeah,
good.
and then I did clear that up. But anyway, back on to Seattle. That I give that trade an A. I think that was something they needed, a little more dominance on the defensive side of the ball, and they went out and got it right away. And that was the first big one to really hit the market in the day, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you, Joe. I mean, I haven't really seen much of Seattle games.
It's not a huge
highlights.
spectacle. Gino's still cooking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just on defense they're kind of close-ish.
Well, they had the
seemed like
injury. They had the injury to Uchenna and Wusu.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
And he's
seemed
out
like
for the
they
year.
needed to definitely beef up that defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
They probably definitely do want to get more pressure on the quarterbacks. I don't know if they've been
Right.
getting a lot of sacks this year. I don't really know their stats on that, but Leonard Williams definitely seems like the type of guy to definitely help them out. And
Didn't he get traded like exactly a year ago? Like there was a trade with him?
4 years ago.
No,
years
it was
ago?
a while ago because he went from the Jets to the Giants,
That's right.
not really having to move.
No, yeah, he just stays at MetLife Stadium.
now he's got to go across the states.
Yeah.
keeps his locker and everything.
Yeah, he just beelines it to Washington State. Oh, yikes. What do you think, Dan?
No, I think honestly, it is a Pete Carroll masterclass. I mean, we all thought the dude was old and outdated, and that he was just going to lose it after Russell Wilson got traded. They are as strong as ever, and they are just putting together another Legion of Boom. I mean, maybe even a more advanced Legion of Boom. You still have Bobby Wagner back. You have Tariq Woolen improving. You have Jamal Adams now healthy, probably, if he can stay healthy. Now you add Leonard Williams to that defense. It's becoming a fortified building that you cannot go through. I mean, when we're thinking of the NFC West, the team to beat is San Francisco, and the one way to beat San Francisco is to get Purdy moving around, have him feel uncomfortable, because like we've kind of noticed from the past 3 games that San Francisco has lost, Purdy's been either on the move or not being able to make his first read, but having to go to his second or third. So just trying to put more pressure on San Francisco to do better is a win in my book. And then, ever getting around to the Rams, and if the Cardinals ever become relevant again,
Hey, Dobbs is out.
Well, Kyler's supposed to be back not this week, but next week.
How much Call of Duty do you think he's been playing? Over, under 15 hours a day? That's the real question.
15 hours? Probably under.
I don't know about that. Leonard Fournette's been playing a lot. That's a point right there. Looked on his
Did he
Twitter.
say that?
Looked on his Twitter. All he's got is just his Twitch and gaming videos. I'm like, all right. So we picked up a guy who hasn't been
that's it.
practicing at all. So I'm like, we picked up the Kyler Murray of running backs. But
Hey, guy's got a Super Bowl ring.
yeah, technically, yeah. Well, not technically, he does. But
He was a major factor in that win.
that's the only time you'll see him, though. This quote-unquote playoff Lenny. We won't see him until Week 18, really. So
Playoff Lenny.
yeah, jeez. Like, come on. If that's all we're hoping for out of him, I'm still on the record last March saying the front office needs to be cleared out. I'm not again, now that it's happened, I'm not going to say that.
But what if he surprises you, Joe?
I'll be
What
the
if-
first
what
one
if-
to acknowledge
what if
he
Leonard-
surprises.
What if Leonard Fournette rushes for like 400 yards and 3 touchdowns in 4 playoff games?
Listen, I'll be the first one to go back and say I was wrong, all right? Like I will. If he doesn't do that though, that clip's going on repeat, the one I have.
I do
So,
wonder
it's just
how
like,
him and Shaq are going to get along.
Oh,
Because remember, it was Fournette and Shaq who were in the fight in 2017, right? That was...
Yeah, I mean, I
it
think
was 2017, 2018. It was
I think they'll be
1 or 2
okay
years.
now.
I mean that's
Who knows?
we're looking
Shaq
at
Lawson just
5-6
comes
years
over,
ago now.
Sees
That's
Leonard, just runs toward him with a fist up.
dude. Shaq
can
can't
see it.
jeopardize anything. Man's getting barely any playing time anyway. Come on, why would you do that?
Shaq Lawson.
Yeah, get out there, buddy. Do something. That's my message to Shaq Lawson. Don't cause yourself any more harm. Just get out there and play football. Come on. If you're listening.
If Shaq Lawson is listening right now
Yeah.
on the Blitz, Shaq Lawson, if you're listening, how about you call in and tell Joe what you feel?
Yeah, I'd love it. And maybe even Leonard Fournette as well. Put my thoughts to bed here. And come on, Everyone's just. I'm sorry to go on this rant. Everyone's going playoff Lenny. We're in week 8. It's not the playoffs yet.
Playoff Lenny.
The dude's been playing COD for the past 2 years, and I get it. He did play well in Tampa Bay. He did.
1,200 yards last season.
Yep. Where was he this season?
Joe,
he's on his couch.
Joe,
He's going to be on Sunday Night Football next time we do it, and he's on the team.
He was probably on
Off
the
the
Manning
couch.
cast a couple days ago.
He was on the Manning cast?
He probably was. Could have been. On the couch.
Yeah,
He needs
literally.
something to do.
Or he's playing COD. That's all I've been seeing out of him. He's sweeping squads in Warzone.
Joe,
So go support his stream, Joe.
I really want to like
Joe, go in his
I wanna-
next stream. Go in
I
his
want to
next stream.
stream snipe him.
Just start
Joe,
going
like
in
Nick
his comments.
A30. Just start finding him in
And they
his
say,
streams.
"Get off
Joe,
the
to start
Bills, you
donating
bum."
to his Twitch stream instead of saying like "Welcome to Buffalo," saying "You're the reason the front office got fired."
You're gonna cause McDermott and Bean to be the next McDaniels and Vegas GM, who I don't know. That's what's gonna happen here.
You should just go. They need to stop calling you playoff Lenny. It's only week 8. You just donate him like $5.
Listen, that's what
Don't need
everyone on Twitter's saying. Playoff Lenny. They're so excited about it.
Joe,
okay.
you gotta call him playoff Lenny, or else he doesn't perform.
Yeah, exactly.
So you gotta make him think it's playoffs every week.
That's just not logistically accurate. We cannot do that. Okay.
Yes, we can.
So is he RB2 though?
No.
Or what
RB3.
would you guys?
If he overtakes Latavius Murray, I'm gonna riot.
I mean,
riot.
I'm
telling you that right now.
I could see him overtaking
I
Latavius
can
Murray
see
in a
him
couple
taking
weeks.
Okay.
goal line snaps.
Here's the thing: if we get playoff Lenny, sure. If not, no. He should. No. I'm not even gonna continue.
In a couple
just
weeks,
gonna
I
be
can
mad.
see him taking over.
I don't know
Murray's
though.
snap count,
Murray,
not his overall snap count, but just some of his snaps.
maybe goal line snaps because Murray's had trouble busting through the
Well,
line.
they want to find someone who can run out a shotgun on the 1 yard line.
Right.
Right.
Instead of, I don't know, tush pushing your big, bulky quarterback up the middle. Right? Easy solution on the 1 yard line. No, let's line up in the shotgun 5 yards out and see what happens. What are we doing? Why is that happening? Like, what are we doing? Come
Why
on.
don't we use Reggie
And then-
Gilliam in it?
They had Ken Dorsey go up
Thank
there and
you.
go.
Thank you.
I
Thank
would
you.
love to see a
Why?
Reggie
We
Gilliam
have one of the
fullback
best
touchdown.
fullbacks in the NFL.
Well, probably one of the only fullbacks.
One of the
in
only true fullbacks in the NFL. This guy's quick. He's powerful. He can catch. He's like a tight end out there, too. No, let's not use him. 12-man personnel? Nope. Gilliam, no. You can sit down.
And then
We're
you
not gonna
got
put you out
Ken
there.
Dorsey going out on a press conference going, well, we feel very confident that we can run out a shotgun at any point in the field. So we like to line up on shotgun on the 1 yard line.
They're one of the worst teams out of the shotgun through the season. You're a play-action team. Be a play-action team. Don't try and be a shotgun team, please. I mean, we talked about that on Monday after the show. Then, I'm not even going to get into it. There's still a couple boneheaded things Dorsey did that I was like, okay, you know what? And Alan might be coming at me with the couch offensive coordinator comment he made in the press conference or whatever last week. But, listen, when I hear the national media accepting what I say, or not really accepting, just going along with like something I said, I'm like, okay, maybe there is some stance. Like, we're running a bootleg right after he comes out of the blue tent.
Or maybe there's not. I mean, it could go either way.
It could go either way, but why are we running a bootleg when he comes out of the tent? Why aren't we shoving Allen up the middle on the 1 yard line? Why aren't we even having James Cook line up as the quarterback and having him get pushed up the middle by Reggie Gilliam behind him? You can
We're gonna
do
the
We should
Wildcat?
just start running
Yeah.
the Wildcat, honestly.
yes, within the 3 yard line, run the Wildcat and push it. So then you're not putting Allen's body on the line, so that can't be an excuse anymore, and he's just out of it. Or you have him swing out to the right as a receiver without letting anyone know, and he catches the touchdown. He'll be a fantasy nightmare if they start doing that. Rushing, throwing, and receiving touchdowns all through the rest of the season. But no, I don't think right off the bat, especially in the shape he's probably in, I don't think he'll be playing right away. They signed him to the practice squad. Maybe in a couple weeks if he actually is producing and doing well before he hits his inevitable slump at some point. We'll see him.
Playoff Lenny doesn't have a slump.
Playoff Lenny has a slump anytime before the playoffs. That's what happens. So I think we're going to see some production out of him, but I do worry that Latavius Murray, who's been having a great season as a Buffalo Bill and has been very productive in this Bills offense, especially in the rushing attack, losing Damian Harris.
Leonard
And
Fournette is practicing today for the Bills.
I don't know if I'm ready to see him in a Bills uniform. Like, that's where I'm at this point. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
and he's not even wearing long sleeves or anything.
No, this
He's
guy's an
straight up in
animal.
Shorts.
he's an animal.
Shorts
and then,
everywhere. I mean, the dude does not give a crap about the cold.
Leonard Fournette is wearing number 5, by the way.
Wasn't that Tyrod's old
Yep.
number?
Yep.
I have an old red Tyrod jersey I bought on THGate for like $20. Maybe I'll duct tape Fournette on the back. Say playoff Lenny on the back to get some good juju going. I don't know. I'm still kind of that versus the other move the Bills made. I'm still kind of just like meh.
Oh, that was Barkley's number.
Yeah, that was Barkley's number.
Trent Edwards.
Goat.
Did we hear that the Giants signed Matt Barkley to their practice squad
Yes.
the other day?
It's a smart move.
Dable's always going for those old players of his.
Well, they need it because
Yeah.
it's Daniel Jones, then Danny DeVito.
Didn't he finish the game with like negative yards?
Yes.
I heard.
Yeah.
-1.
Tyrod has a habit of getting knocked out in big games.
Yeah, he's not
Is it
the...
really a big game to go against the Jets?
It's the MetLife Bowl.
Yeah.
You know,
Is that...
Well, I mean,
it would have been
especially
big for the Giants at
the
that
Giants
point.
have been
Yeah.
rolling the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
Well, rolling of defensively playing pretty decent, and I mean they've only put up like 22 combined points in the last 3 weeks, but they've been better.
I mean, that's true. They have won a game. I mean,
So
nothing can get better than that.
let's continue here on the trade deadline talk. Let's talk about a team that made 2 trades, but they were sending guys out and receiving draft picks for said players. First, it was Washington sending standout defensive end Montez Sweat to the Chicago Bears for a 2022 second-round draft pick that they received for sending Sweat to Chicago.
I really liked it.
Yeah, I like it.
I love it.
Mhm.
I mean, I think when you're thinking Chicago, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, they're sellers. They're sellers.
The
They're not
Bears.
gonna buy
They're
anybody."
selling for Caleb Williams. That's all. You know what I mean? That's
right.
it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they're just tanking at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whatever. And they did a whole rebuild on defense last year. I mean, there was a reason they overpaid Tremaine Edmonds by like probably $20 million.
How that turned out for us is muy bueno. That's all I got to say.
And then you have T.J. Edwards. You have Jalen Johnson still, which I think he might re-sign now.
They kept them at the deadline.
I mean, it really does still depend. Does Jalen Johnson want to be a Bear? That's
Bears.
and you still have at least, I think, parts of an offense. You still have some parts of your offensive line there. You still have a number 1 wide receiver in DJ Moore. So they're on the up. They just didn't have a pass rusher at all. Their front four did not do anything to anybody. And at least this kind of says, like, hey, we have our cornerstone defensive lineman for a little bit.
I can guarantee you that upon Sweat getting traded to Chicago, there was probably a contract agreement reached that will be reported in like a week or so. You know, being that Sweat will be there long term on a 4 or 5 year deal. I can probably guarantee that they got a contract stow aside and guaranteed on with numbers and stuff. Just because I don't think Sweat was going to go somewhere probably without a contract.
Yeah, I would agree. It'll be something to kind of wait out and
if
see.
Chicago's trading for him, there has to be
Yeah.
a contract.
But then this one's the big one.
Okay.
Chris, I want to hear your take on this. San Francisco receives
Yeah.
former number 2 overall draft selection from just a couple years ago, Chase Young, and all Washington receives in back is a 3rd-round pick. And we know that Chase Young has been dealing with injuries a little bit throughout his first 2 years in the NFL. He had a really solid rookie campaign, hasn't really been able to follow it up since, but he's actually been pretty solid this season. He's top 10 in pressures. His 5th-year option got declined by Washington, so ultimately, after this season, he would have been a free agent. So Washington getting a little bit for the former number 2 overall pick. What are your thoughts about him going to San Fran?
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting one because the way San Fran has been actually dropping games lately. I don't know if they were blaming their defense, but it seems like this addition is gonna bolster their pass rush. Obviously, with is Bosa at the other end, right?
Yeah, they got Bosa,
Yeah.
Hargraves, and Armstead there.
So yeah, that's gonna be interesting because the Eagles still have to play them. I still consider them one of the top teams in the NFC. But I definitely find it interesting that they're bolstering up that defensive line and, making these additions at the trade deadline. We're just going to have to wait and see how it works out for them, honestly.
Yeah, I think the best version of the 49ers is when they have their defensive line going. A couple years ago, that really stands out with all the players they had on the defensive line. And some of those guys were gone now, and they needed to replace and, replenish some of that on the line. And Nick Bosa isn't having the greatest season. He only has 3.5 sacks so far this year, and you're bringing in a guy opposite him now of Chase Young, who's top 10 in pressures.
Yeah.
So maybe that gets Nick Bosa going a little bit, and obviously inside you have Javon Hargraves and Eric Armstead. So it should be pretty scary hours for any offensive line going up against the San Francisco 49ers in that department. Smaller trade, obviously with Kirk Cousins out for the season. Minnesota wanted to bring in a quarterback. Arizona sends over Josh Dobbs in a 7th-round 2024 draft pick, and Arizona receives a 2024 6th-round pick. And then Jacksonville receives Ezra Cleveland from Minnesota, and Jacksonville receives the standout center, and Minnesota gets a 6th-round 2024 draft pick. The Lions bringing in an interesting wide receiver. They bring in Donovan Peoples-Jones from Cleveland, and Cleveland receives a 2025 6th-round draft pick. And I mean, Donovan Peoples-Jones he's a competent wide receiver in the NFL. If really all it took to get a guy like DPJ was a 6th-round draft pick in 2025, let alone 2. I mean, I wonder how many teams were really on the phone for him.
Yeah, that's kind of that's a surprisingly good deal, right? Like, listen, I like him as a wide receiver. I do. He's had some slumps, ups and downs, of course, and I truthfully look at this and adding him to an already humming Lions offense under Jared Goff and the rest of, Jahmyr Gibbs, a very competent running game, even without David Montgomery. You're just adding another weapon to an NFC team that's
on the rise,
ready to go, like, for the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, they look like they're gonna make a run, and the Bills of the NFC. That's what Detroit is. They've never won anything either, right? I mean, that's what they say. So, no offense to Chris next to me, but if I'm rooting for any NFC team, it's going to be the Detroit Lions at any point, So
you got to go with the underdog, so
yeah.
Can't really blame you.
Yeah, and obviously DPJ, kind of a very fitting wide receiver in the way Detroit likes to play. He should have very successful games throughout the rest of the regular season and potentially postseason if they do finish out strong and get in. Now the big news that we need to talk about here for the trade deadline is the Buffalo Bills made a trade.
This I'm happy about.
This is a very good deal for Buffalo. Buffalo receives veteran Green Bay quarterback Rasul Douglas in a 2024 5th-round draft pick, sending over to Green Bay a 2024 3rd-round draft pick. And the Buffalo Bills will be getting a 3rd-round draft pick, complimentary of losing Tremaine Edmonds. So they are only about like 50-ish spots back, if that, in that, and like even from the 3rd to 4th round, and they're going to still get a 3rd-round draft pick either way.
I love it. Told you.
Love it. I'm
happy about it. That I'm excited about. Adding a washed-looking, 40-year-old-looking running back, I'm not. So, I'm all for this, especially in the Bills' defense right now. The cornerback help they need. Kyer has not been great. A lot of people are saying, he's not good in zone, all this stuff. He's actually better in zone, even though he's a man corner. Anyway, we're not even going to dwell on that. I sit here and I think, I'm like, is Dane Jackson, he's a great backup. He's a great 3rd cornerback, right? Kyer's your 4th, last resort in case things go wild, right? Benford and Green Bay guy. What's his name? I'm like completely blanking. Rasul Douglas, an absolute senior moment on my end. That tandem, I'd be very happy with. We have a plethora of slot cornerbacks, right? Even Cam Lewis is considered a slot cornerback at this point.
I mean,
like, I don't know if it's a plethora.
We have got Johnson. Who's the next one? I want to say Levi
Wallace. It'd be Johnson, Saran Neal,
and then Cam Lewis.
Those are the guys that can play slot on.
Right, exactly. So you've got 3 solid slot cornerbacks that can play. You don't have 3 solid outside corners that can play. Now you do. Kyer's your last resort. This, I think, exponentially helps the Bills' defense.
I don't
the
even
secondary.
think Kyer's your last resort. He might be going on the IR.
Oh, yeah?
It turns out they had an ankle injury that the Bills might have played him through.
Oh, and they didn't think to tell
It
anyone
goes here.
that.
Sal Capaccio reports that Bills are thinking about shutting down cornerback Kyer Elam for an IR stint due to his ankle injury, per Brandon Beane, who says they'd like to get him 100%. Elam would still be able to come back this season in that scenario. Elam has been on the injury report for the last couple weeks because we did see him get some games, but then he's been shut down, a few times as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be.
That's
the
crazy.
main
I didn't know
reason
that. Yeah, that could be a reason why he's not doing
didn't
what he needs to
perform
do.
well. I mean, I dogged him on him a lot. I hated him. I wanted him gone, and at some point that may become true.
That's like the Dawson Knox thing. They wrist injury. Yeah, they never told us the extent, and now he had surgery on it. So you know what I mean? Like it's similar
I
but
don't
different.
Know. Maybe Knox might have said he could play through it.
Right, but
that
similar
could be
but different. Like it's a similar situation but different. I had no idea that even happened with Kyer, and I'm a little frustrated at this point now with that.
And the big thing here with Rasul Douglas is you get a guy that played 200 snaps in the slot last year, but is primarily a very good outside corner, predominantly great in zone, can play man, doesn't get talked about as enough in man coverage just because he was very good in zone. He's predominantly great in zone, and that's what the Buffalo Bills run here, is a primarily zone defensive scheme. 10 takeaways over between 2021 and 2022. Just phenomenal. I'm pretty sure that I forgot who reported it, but I'm pretty sure someone reported that between 2021 and 2022 is more takeaways in the last 3 years than Bills corners have had.
Wow.
It might have been Elena Gutsenberg that reported that. I think I heard that on the Extra Point show earlier with Sal Capaccio. He said that stat, and Elena Gutsenberg reported that. I thought that was very eyeballing.
That's an eye opener, as they say. Yeah, no, I kind of taken off guard by that. I didn't.
Well, because you got Trey White's been injured.
Yeah,
Taron Johnson doesn't get the opportunity to get too many takeaways because he plays a more physical style of game. He's just trying to break the pass up, let alone going for INTs.
Right.
Kyer Elam, he's had 2 or 3. Benford's only had, I believe, 1 career interception. Dane Jackson, maybe 2 or 3. But outside of that, I mean, those are the guys that have been playing corner for you. Levi Wallace, I mean, you're looking at 3 or 4. So it's right around that point. I mean, maybe the numbers are a little bit different. I'm pretty sure the stat is pretty correct. I'm going to actually look it up here, but
little fun fact about Rasul Douglas was he was actually drafted by the Eagles, so
yes.
I'm actually excited to see how he performs for the Bills.
Yeah, I mean, drafted in 2017 by the Eagles, and then, playing his last few years in Green Bay. I mean, he's a good tackler. He's obviously got to be a great tackler here in Buffalo, in that Sean McDermott scheme. It's in my opinion, it's pretty relieving and pretty knowing that the Bills saw a hole, in a sense, at the cornerback position, at the cornerback 1 position, let me mind you that. And they went out and got a guy that should be able to guard up against number 1 receivers, for the next couple of seasons.
That's why nobody says fire Beane. I mean, Beane is just so smart at what he does. I think if you ask any Bills fan and say, who's the best GM of all time, I think some people will say Brandon Beane. He has just been so influential in his trades.
He has.
In his draft picks. I mean, even if some go sideways, that isn't completely his fault. That
right, but
happens
he's
anyway.
had players come out of it, though.
His
like Christian
signings,
Benford.
right.
That's a great draft pick,
I mean, this year, the Bills only have to pay Rasul Douglas $800K. Next year, they have the option to take him on for $9 million, which is all non-guaranteed. So they can just get rid of him if they don't feel like paying him. But I think they may keep him, actually, and have a 1-2 punch with White while White's trying to get healthy again.
This move, though, you're right. I think could be a future Like, this could have built for a few years here with him.
And
you know what I mean?
And a lot of people don't know this, but he's the only one with a contract spanning into next year. All the rest of the trade deadline moves, they're all rentals. They're all 1-year guys. So they can be on another team by next season if the team they just got traded to does not sign them. I think Rasul Douglas was a great move. I've heard this all day yesterday and all day today. If Green Bay Packer fans are mad, you know you got a good person.
Right.
You just know you got it.
And a lot of people are saying that he's this like the smartest and the most hardworking player on that defense.
And that he's even a leader. I mean, they stepped up this year. There's been talks about that, about how he's been trying to pull guys aside. He's been trying to rile up the defense to do better. And, you know, he's gotten some response out of it. But that's kind of a Bills... That is a Buffalo Bill culture guy.
This could be the statistic here, and I found it on Twitter. I might have heard it wrong, but I'm just going to correct myself if I did so. But I'm pretty sure that that's what he might have said on GR. But here's the exact statistic in general from Elena Getzenberg. New Bills corner Rasul Douglas has 10 interceptions in the last 3 seasons, tied for third most in the NFL. Since Week 5, the Bills' defense has recorded 0 interceptions.
No,
Wow.
he is just perfect. And I mean, he even has the most fourth quarter interceptions since 2021.
Really?
Yeah. So
Guy's
he
clutch.
is just a closer. And I think the Bills...
So we
had
traded for a
that-
pitcher.
Yeah, we got a relief pitcher. I mean, you could say he is the closer.
And you know what the big thing, I mean, he's a 6'2" corner.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bills don't have that.
No,
The Bills
have
don't
always
have a
gone for
big
smaller
corner.
Guys.
I mean, Dean Jackson's probably our biggest corner. They don't have a big guy like that with the size and length that a guy like Rasul Douglas brings. And this goes to my next point. I also heard this on WGR, the Extra Point Show, earlier today. They were talking about goal line situations over the last few weeks. The Bills have been playing 3 corners on the field because of Taron Johnson and what he can do and the great things that he does. But Taron Johnson's been getting attacked down by the goal line by bigger receivers and tight ends like Darren Waller, Mike Gesicki last week or the other week, and then Chris Godwin on Thursday Night Football. Like these bigger tight ends / receivers, they've all been going at Taron Johnson, and Taron Johnson has been beat on those. Now, that's not Taron Johnson's fault necessarily. It's more the fact that Taron Johnson is a smaller nickel corner. He's going to play really well in between every part of the yard, every part of the field, except maybe like the 3-yard line. Because when you get in those smaller packages, they're going to put those bigger bodies on you, and it's going to be hard for you to defend. So maybe you're like, all right, maybe take Taron off the field and put Douglas in. And put Douglas on a Darren Waller, a Chris Godwin, a Mike Gesicki, a Travis Kelce. Like this corner that is just so big but can work in the slot too.
Right. He is just, I think, one of the... Maybe until we see him, he's not a perfect fit. But he could be a great, like, puzzle piece that you've been missing for a year. And you finally found the piece underneath the chair. Because you haven't looked underneath the chair yet. So I just think he was a great fit. He's a great move, especially after Chicago saying, Jalen's staying here, you're not giving us what we want. Because right as Rappaport reported Johnson looks like he's staying in Chicago, the Bills straight just called up the Packers and said, hey, we're coming back to you, we'll increase the offer. Because supposedly also San Francisco was in on Rasul, and the Bills beat the 49ers out. Because the 49ers later tried to make a last-minute trade with the Giants for Dory Jackson, but for some reason it didn't get filed. It was like an A.J. McCarron incident again, where they forgot what time it was and they didn't send in the sheet. So really, the Bills just did a great job knowing what they could give up. That Bean understands, like, hey, we don't need the 3rd-round pick. We got a compensatory pick coming in. It's fine if we give up this one because we'll still technically have a 3rd. So, and I really thought with the 5th coming back, Evan, you saw my tweet. I thought they would make one more quick move, and try to get a defensive tackle. And Bean,
Bean still is alluding to the fact that they may try to add a free agent defensive tackle.
right? I thought they would try to get back Harrison Phillips.
Maybe
I don't think they ever
McDonald
wanted to
Sue?
get rid of him.
Maybe.
That could be an option.
Yeah, he's still out there.
So
He can play snaps.
I thought the Bills still had time to make a move. I just don't think it was enough time. That always happens where you're just like, oh, well, time's gone. What can you do? But if being mentioned that they are looking for a defensive tackle, there's no doubt in my mind that he was calling teams about one that he could get for cheap. And he was like, if I can get one for a 5th-round pick, we're going in. And because there's still the uncertainty with Daquan Jones and if he's going to show up again or not. Supposedly, Matt Milano's going to be showing up soon because he tweeted out that a picture of himself in a Bills uniform and soon with a blue heart.
Yeah.
So at some point, you should have known. Bean knows what he knows. He is one of the best at knowing what he needs to fill. And I love Brandon Bean. I hope nobody ever says anything bad. If anybody says bad about Brandon Bean, they can deal with me. I'll be the first line of defense against Brandon Bean.
You hear that? If anyone has a bone to pick with Brandon Bean, call in at 878-5104, 878-5104, and you can go straight to Double D Dandale and tell him what you think is up with Brandon Bean. We are going to take a quick break here on the Blitz, and after the break, we'll get into more Buffalo Bills talk. We will also get into Buffalo Sabres talk. We're going to talk a little bit of the World Series, what's going on in the MLB world, and much more in the sports world. We'll be back in just a few moments on the Blitz. See you guys in a few. Welcome back to the Blitz side, 91.3 FM at WBNY. My name is Evan Harrington, alongside with all my beautiful co-hosts here in Buffalo. Winter has already flourished here.
I got that on the StreamYard stream.
Yeah.
That is going on social media.
That is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, speaking of social media, before we get into anything, go follow all of our Buffalo Blitz accounts on Instagram, Twitter, etc. Especially the one on the Instagram, Dandale over here.
Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. Come on.
He is. He's
It's just
fine.
it's just
holiday
karaoke.
season.
We're good.
Dandale, obviously running the social media over there, doing great job as always with the Blitz content. Ooh, man. Yesterday, snow is officially back in Buffalo.
It is.
On Halloween.
I
First of all,
love snow.
I never asked. How were your guys' Halloweens yesterday with the snow? And
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, I didn't really do much, but snow was, I guess nice.
Dan,
I stayed home and ate candy.
you didn't go get candy.
No,
did you have any
no.
trick-or-treaters come by the...
No, luckily where I live, there ain't a sidewalk, no people in sight. It's great.
Never stopped us as kids. We just walked in the middle of the street.
The
dared people to hit
4
us.
years I've been here, I've never gotten a single
Hit me,
trick-or-treater.
man.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Do you just not leave your lights on?
Well, I mean, I live off Union Road, so I mean, I guess just no one wants to,
Union's
walk
busy, though.
their kids
Yeah.
on that sidewalk.
I was working last night, but
Yeah.
went to my family's for like mid-afternoon-ish until like 5. So got to see my younger siblings in their costumes. Just got to, eat some candy, get
Joe,
some...
I seriously thought that you were about to say at work there were people at the door.
No.
looking for candy.
I still accidentally wore my costume to work that I had on yesterday. I didn't realize it because it's my normal outfit, the flannels
Oh, yeah.
with the jeans, but I had a Spider-Man mask hanging out of the pocket because I was Peter Parker. That was my costume.
Was anybody else dressed up at work?
Not when I got there. There
Right,
was a big chicken costume rumored to have been around.
Oh.
Yeah. From the one and only Mike. So he showed up in a big full chicken outfit.
Oh, I saw pictures of that.
Yeah. So he showed up like that. Everyone was in costumes. The sales staff was in costumes. I was expecting to see the fellas in the newsroom in costume, but it wasn't. There was no one, unfortunately. So
Tanner nor Depot?
nope, neither of them.
Wow.
Did you see Aiden Hutchinson, I think, it was.
He was
dressed up as
Shark
Shark
Boy.
Did you
And
guys-
he met Taylor Lautner at the game.
That's funny. Did
Yeah.
you guys see Alex Tuck's costume?
That was fantastic.
him and his wife were.
Oh, I gotta pull it
the,
up for
the
Chris.
Grinch and what's the little girl's name?
Cindy Lou.
Cindy Lou.
Oh.
I'll put it on the StreamYard stream.
How about I think it was Taylor Heineke? I think it was. He was like a deer caught in headlights. I have
Yes,
to look it up.
someone in my class mentioned that.
That was the funniest one I saw.
forgot- I think Joe in our last class that we had with electronic news reporting. Forgot who mentioned that.
Who?
That Taylor Heineke.
It was like a deer in headlights.
Deer in headlights.
or
I think it was,
something like
it was
that.
Yeah, it was
Dan
me.
out in
I
the,
showed
Dan?
the lounge.
Oh,
Dan, you're-
all right, Dan. Good job.
Dan, are you quiet?
What?
You're quiet. I can barely hear you.
Why am I quiet? When am I quiet?
Dan, you were quiet.
How am I ever quiet?
Hang on, I gotta find it here. Okay, that's his old Halloween costume. He was
Test
the
it.
Beast.
Am I good now? Am I loud, Joe?
Yep. Now you're
Yep.
normal
Am I
Dan.
good?
You're
Oh yes. Okay. Okay, I have it. I have it here.
Oh, jeez.
Let's
Joe.
see,
I'm
we're gonna
ready
pull it-
for this.
Pull it on the StreamYard stream if I can find it. Come on.
Joe, I'm going to be very disappointed if you don't.
No, it sent me to Facebook, and I got to scroll all the way through.
Get sent to Facebook.
Is it this Beauty and the Beast one?
No.
Oh, no,
no.
that's at 2020.
No. It ain't
Why
Beauty
is
and the
it
Beast.
taking me all the way back here?
Alex Tuck.
It was an interesting costume. Lane Johnson dressed up as Jason Kelsey for Halloween.
That was funny.
Did you see Victor
Oh.
Wembanyama? I think Wembanyama.
Yeah, he was a- yeah.
his name?
Slender
Man.
That was
Wembanyama.
so
Yeah.
cool.
That was pretty realistic.
He definitely, because he's so tall.
yeah, and just
It's
so
insane.
Okay, I'm
So
going to share
slender.
the screen. I'm sharing the
That
screen.
too.
Yeah, were you guys anything for Halloween over the weekend? During the weekend, if you having times to do
Can't
so.
say that I was, no.
No, hang on. There we go. We got everyone down here. There's Alex Tuck on the right with
Oh,
the Grinch.
yeah, I
Oh
did
my
see
He
God.
was
that.
Cindy Lou Who
That's great.
to the Grinch.
I was like, what?
That's great.
Yeah, it's
That's a good one.
a yikers moment there. It's tough.
Yikers.
Um,
It's just funny.
Dan, were you anything for Halloween over the weekend?
No, I was just at home, my guy. I mean, I had work on Saturday, so I wasn't able to do anything then. But
Yeah.
and even Sunday, because I was covering for somebody in Studio B while he went to a Sabres game.
Oh yeah, I also didn't end up going to that anyway.
Why was I there? Oh my god! we had a conversation.
No, I did not. I was
What a
going.
great game, by the way.
No?
It was a great game. I was planning on going, and I said, you know what, I'm going to save the money and not go today because I had
went.
a
What a
lot
great
of
We
lot of
didn't switch.
cleaning to do. So I took the day and did what I needed to do. You know, did
Joe,
a
I'm
lot.
not happy right now. Joe, I'm not happy right now.
Joe, you weren't
came
anything
into
for
work.
Halloween?
I was
over
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso.
That was a good one. And
Leave.
Then I was yeah. There you go. Then Ted Lasso, and then I was Peter Parker.
Yeah. I was myself. I was Tom Cruise, Top Gun Maverick.
That was
Oh
yeah.
my
There we
God.
go.
I think it was Wednesday, this past Wednesday or Thursday night. I was like, well, the weekend's coming around. You know, Halloween events are going to be going on. I need to finish this costume. I was just getting a little lazy on trying to set everything up for it. Go to Party City, the one right up on Elmwood, right by Target, and the Regal Cinema and stuff. And I just look and I walk in there and I see the Tom Cruise jacket, but then I see the Tom Cruise like bomber jacket. It's either the one on the motorcycle, that like brown leather one with the patches, or you get the full like bomber suit.
Yeah, the bomber suit.
So I'm like, man, which one do I do? I bought the jacket. I
Yeah.
bought the full blown.
Well, you can wear the jacket now every year if you want to.
Yes, I can. And I had the sunglasses, had the jeans, had the boots. It was a good look. It was a good look. Tom Cruise, Top Gun Maverick.
Can I make a point real quick? I don't know if you
No.
guys did.
I
while
like the
was
costume.
off.
I actually thought it turned out pretty good.
No, I think no. I don't know if I saw a picture of it.
Yeah, I do have a photo.
I'll have to see. Anyway, the Bills announced their uniform combinations:
Ooh,
white on blue,
what are the socks?
blue.
Oh, it's white on blue and blue.
Yeah. Does anyone remember the last time that jersey combination was worn?
No.
No,
Cincinnati last year.
Oh.
Everyone's like, "What are we doing here?" Social media admin after hitting post, it's Jim from The Office doing this out of the frame. You know what I mean? I'm like, you know what I mean? Yeah, just leaning back in the car. Like, what are we doing here? It's this. You can see it on the stream here. It's just him ducking down.
He's like, I'm not here.
Yeah, right. Some people are like, I love this combo, and then they said people are saying, "Welp, thanks for the white over the blue curse, guys." All that stuff. Yeah, worst uniform combination. Plus, Josh is still hurt. Yikes. Now we're
Dude,
now we're
want?
now we're going down the rabbit hole.
Okay, now the X-Files are getting a little crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. The X-Files. Yeah, that's a new segment.
Yeah, that's a new segment, Harrington. X-Files.
X-Files.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Now though, since we went over a little bit of, before we actually go, how'd you guys feel with the snow last night? Like, really overall thoughts with the snow, it being Christmas in October.
I mean, it was less than an inch, pretty much.
Yeah, but were you expecting
places.
it this early?
I wasn't. No, I looked out the window. It was lake effect snow, and I'm like, these are big
Honestly,
flakes.
yeah.
I was like, holy cow! I was like, I thought it was just like sleet-ish. I didn't expect to see actual snow coming down.
Right,
you know?
I didn't expect it to stick and stay.
Yeah.
I was.
It
ready.
barely did, but it did. You know what I mean?
It
yeah.
snowed a little bit when I left classes early at 1:00.
It was barely. That was when I was walking into film yesterday, and that was like, I was like, oh, we're seeing snow out there today, and then at night it got worse, and I was like, whoa, you know?
Yeah. No, trust me. I was taking my dog out, and quite literally, I opened the door and I say, "Where did this come from? What do you want me to do here?" And my dog looks at me like, "We gotta get going, bud." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. Let me just get ready. I gotta put on a jacket now because it's snowing cats and dogs out here." Trust me. I was like, okay, snow, not gonna be bad. It's just gonna be there.
Yeah.
I did not expect it.
You know what Patriots accounts are doing right now? They're saying to go get Josh McDaniels back to replace Bill Belichick as the head coach. Are we not looking at the sample size here, fellas? Like, what are we doing here? Like, Patriots empire? Come on.
It's not even Bill O'Brien's a bad OC.
No. They said Bill O'Brien as a candidate, but before him is Josh McDaniels because now he's freed up, and they thought he was the former successor. And I'm like, you saw
for replacements of
Belichick.
That they're even thinking of replacements of Belichick now is so great. I gotta admit, I love to see a downfall of a dynasty.
I'd love to see the Dolphins just downfall for the rest of the season.
I can't wait to see Patrick Mahomes, leave Kansas
when he
City
doesn't have
and-
flu symptoms.
Right. And then Andy Reid getting promoted to
Bless
a executive role.
Did they go? Bless you. Did they go to Germany yet?
Yeah, I know the Dolphins did.
Oh
Good for
no!
The Dolphins are there already.
Come on,
Good
Chiefs!
for them.
You not learned anything from the Bills going to London? Go early.
I mean, I can look. I don't remember.
This is a
seeing
yikes moment, guys.
anything.
This is a yikes moment going into this weekend. Yeah, yikes. Come on.
I mean, the
They should
Kansas
know.
City Chiefs social media guy is tweeting about the. Remember the one time they did the circle, and then they spread out.
Oh,
Yeah, and that's their trick or treat thing.
I don't know. That was a little
let's see.
distasteful for me. They were up pretty big in that game already. I was
And
like, you
they
didn't need
pulled
to do
something
that.
like that.
That's
yeah.
what you do when it's a close game and you got to score. That's not what you do when you're just spitting all over a team. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, they're actually there.
they're there.
They're there, I believe,
Good.
because at least the mascot's there.
Okay. Well, then I don't know. I don't
so
know.
that's like a part.
What is their mascot?
It's like the
Raccoon.
no, it's not a raccoon.
Rocket
It looks more like a rat.
I
That's
gotta
just
search
enlarged.
it.
I mean, that's what it reminds me of. It just looks like a
Chiefs
rat.
mascot.
I totally forgot there was a.
Oh,
Germany
it's
game
the
this
wolf,
weekend.
Casey Wolf.
Oh yeah, it's a wolf. Oh no, it doesn't look like a wolf to me. That's just. But yeah,
Jeez,
they
I'm
haven't
trying to pull it
shown-
up, and it's the freaking Chiefs website is just giving me ad after ad here.
Yeah, they haven't shown the plane. Players getting on the plane. So I actually don't know if they're there yet.
He's on the
So-
stream. He's looking at us, just so you know.
Oh, jeez. Ah! It's not Halloween, Joe. I don't want to be scared anymore.
Look at him.
No,
Why?
I don't want to.
Oh my god.
Chris, don't. Oh my god.
What did Chris
No,
do?
it's just the picture.
you?
No, I just
Okay.
looked at the picture.
You're oh my
Not
godding the picture.
yeah,
Thank
not
you.
you, Dan. That was
Okay.
oh my god, the picture.
You're gonna
No,
get the
Joe's
leak.
just gonna do that at random times. He's gonna go look at the street.
Well, Evan, you missed it the other day when we did the hour long of the Spider-Man 2099 theme, but it's like moments of silence broken up by the like just out of nowhere,
That's
and
great.
like
That's funny.
for the spooky episode, we just let that rip, and
That's
it kind of worked out in like perfect
Yeah.
timing at certain places, so it was funny.
I'm gonna do a quick legal ID here real quick. You are listening to the Blitz on 91.3 FM WBNY, Buffalo's original alternative station since 1982, brought to you by the Buffalo State Student Activity Fee. Once again, my name is
Do you have
Evan.
to redo it?
No, I don't think I do.
Rewind. 10
Yeah,
seconds.
rewind.
I don't think I do.
Stretch that, reverse it.
Should I redo it real quick?
No.
Oh, you can.
Just once
if you
again,
want.
my name is Evan Harrington, along with my co-host Joe Callie in Studio B, over with Chris Giacobello in Studio B, and over to my right, Dan Dale, Double D over here. You guys want to get into a little bit of Sabres talk? Continue with the NFL talk. We'll get to the
John Granado needs to be. No, I'm kidding. We're not going on that rant. Though.
I was ready to explode after hearing that. I don't know. That was
Does
getting
anyone
me.
just feel like kind of tired today?
Yeah, I feel really like maybe it's because
of the snow.
Yeah.
the snow and the cold. Like it's
I
35
feel like there's
degrees
been
outside.
I feel like there's been a lot going on though for everyone. Like throughout this weekend, and then with it being Halloween, people treated it like an extended weekend.
It's a Halloween weekend.
Well, I know that's what
it
I'm
is.
saying.
Yeah.
Great wordplay.
That's like not even me being creative. That's like
that wasn't
yeah,
even you
that-
being.
That's
creative.
literally
No.
You should
it's
take
literally a
it.
hashtag.
that's everything. Yeah,
It's a
hashtag
hashtag.
Halloween
Oh.
weekend. Yeah, that's like big.
I don't know.
Every person on social media, Halloween weekend. They posted like I feel like I don't know, Joe. You can correct
Trust
me.
me,
on this.
I'm not.
I
Popular
feel
on
like
social media.
every third post this past weekend was something about Halloween.
Well, yeah.
You know,
I mean, yeah.
I feel like
Looking at
That's all he's got.
that's all I got. I have no
Yeah.
rebuttal to that. I mean, I'm in 100% agreement. Every post on my feed still is just people
Yeah.
posting Halloween stuff, and I'm like, are we done? Like it's November 1st. Like,
Yeah.
are we done?
yeah, like some people started posting stuff like this past Thursday, and it wasn't even Friday yet for Halloween weekend. But I don't know. You guys want to get into some Sabres talk now?
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at real quick. I'm looking on Twitter. There was an altercation on a flight earlier today, and it looks to be that this woman is yelling at the people behind them that she is allowed to put her seat back.
Huh.
One of those scenarios.
Allowed to put her.
No, do you know how you can recline?
Oh,
Like move your
Oh.
seat back.
I thought she literally picked up.
No, I want to turn down the audio here, but I don't know if there's any expletives, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Have
even-
have you guys ever had a crazy airplane story?
Yeah, you know the guy with the Burger King crown that was on my flight.
Oh,
That guy,
Yeah,
like that exact guy,
that guy
Wait,
that guy.
he's that guy.
was coming back from Florida. Mm-hmm.
When that video was recorded, you were on that said flight.
I was 8 rows behind him. Yes.
Are you in the video somehow?
No. I'm just kidding. I was never involved with that flight at all. I baited all of you
Made
on
it
that
sound
one.
Although-
so real.
Hold on, see.
I was 2 seats behind Devin Levi a couple months ago, though. I will say that.
Yeah.
That was wild.
Tell that story.
Yeah, I don't know if I did on here or not. It was.
I don't think you did.
No, so coming back from the Jets game, I went to week 1. Rough game, to say the least. The Sabres were there as well, a lot of them. This kid's getting on the plane in front of me. I'm looking at him. I'm like, this face looks really familiar. I mean, he's got some lettuce. He's got the long hair. You know what I mean? I'm like, where have I seen this guy before? And then it clicks, and I'm like, no, can't be. Why is he in New York? You know what I mean? I didn't know the Sabres were at the game because I didn't see that yet, you know? Then I look at my at his he used my overhead compartment because I wasn't using it, right? So he lifts the bag up, and I see a wolf on it, and it says D. Levi, and I'm like there he is. That's him.
Northeastern.
In the
Northeastern
flesh.
Yeah,
Wolves.
Northeastern Wolves. That's him. There we go. And then he went up. He put his stuff. He went to sit down. I whispered across the aisle to my mom. I was like, "You know who that is, right?" She's like, "No, no one knew who he was." And I get it, right? He's a newer player on the Sabres, whatever. Any true NHL fan would be able to ID him, though. I'm going to be honest with you, especially with the
not the ESPN guys.
No, because Stephen A. Smith only knows the puck is black, so that's the one thing we know. So anyway,
I love that. I love every time that he is around hockey in some sort of measure. He always goes, "Well, the one thing I know about hockey is that the puck is black."
yeah. Wild that he's even like allowed to talk about it, but anyway.
Oh, speaking of hockey, since we're on it, Austin Matthews officially partners with Prime. Logan Paul and KSI's Hydration Drink Company.
Should KSI have won that fight against Tommy Fury?
No.
Or Tyson Fury, which one?
It was Tommy Fury.
I think he should have.
I thought.
No, he shouldn't have won.
Wait, who won that fight again?
Tommy Fury.
won
KSI got robbed.
KSI appealed, but he lost the appeal.
He got robbed.
Wow.
Those scorecards were not legit.
You think KSI should have won?
There were point deductions from on the other side that weren't shown on the cards. And he landed more clean hits than Tommy did.
Yeah.
I sat there and watched the whole thing on my bootleg stream. You know what I mean? Like I was like,
You enjoy the fight?
My whole family has been boxing since I was little. I mean, my dad's a Golden Glove boxer. He actually had professional tryouts with the Reds and the Pirates, but then blew out his ankle. So I mean, my grandpa was a boxer. Everyone like in the family's blood. So I always watch the big fights. I also watch rough and rowdy fights too. Those are always fun. So, it's just I always pay attention whenever there's a big fight in boxing. I don't follow it religiously, but I'm always entertained by watching a good fight. And I think KSI should have won that fight. If you're going by hit, clean hit, KSI wins the fight. Tommy Fury did not land as many punches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really see it. All I know is the outcome, so I don't.
You see the scorecards, it's scribbled off on one of them and then changed.
Really?
Yeah, the deduction is scribbled off on Tommy's side.
Yeah.
Definitely seems like robbery then. At that
You're telling
point.
me? You're telling me, but guess what? If KSI beat a Fury, like the boxing royalty,
Mm-hmm.
the sport would have been flipped on its head. You know what I mean? So they couldn't let it happen.
Yeah.
Just how it is, unfortunately.
Isn't Jake Paul going to get another shot at Fury soon?
He's getting it might be Tyson Fury. I don't know if it's Tommy.
No,
Fury.
I think it's be Tommy.
It'll be Tommy, you think?
I don't think Didn't Tyson barely win his fight the other day against what's the
It
guy's
was close. Yeah.
Francis Ngannou.
Yeah.
Francis Ngannou.
It was a close one. Yeah, that one I understand being split decision. That was, that was
Right.
close.
Speaking of fights, Logan Paul beating Dylan Dennis. That
Wasn't
was
that by
Oh,
disqualification.
yeah,
though?
dude, Dylan Dennis. That guy's a clown.
I love how he hit more punches on the ref than he actually did.
Like, dude, Dylan
Logan
Dennis
Paul.
had like 4 punches in the fight, and then he landed like 10 on the security guards.
Yeah.
Oh,
Joe, did you watch the Logan Paul Dennis fight?
I wasn't able to because I was in class at that point, I believe,
Ah.
or doing something, maybe working. I watched the latter. I watched KSI that night, but
I saw how he got disqualified, and I'm just like, you talked all this talk to get disqualified.
that's the biggest takeaway from all of this. They all run their mouths and then get shut up like
Yeah.
the quickest.
Yeah.
The guy who has Conor McGregor, thinking he could take on a boxer. I'm sorry. No matter what you say to me, no MMA fighter will win against a boxer in a boxing ring. There's no way. The ring is for the boxer. You can't jump in the air and start kicking people. You know what I mean? You can't Superman punch. You can't. It's not WWE. You're not going off the top rope. It's all.
Logan Paul can
It's
do.
technicality. It's like it's 2 guys in a ring just throwing punches at each other. Floyd Mayweather is not the greatest boxer of all time. No, not even close. He just lets the opponents wipe themselves out, and then he gets a knockout punch. Like that's just what happens. That's how he boxes. There's a lot more technical stuff with boxing. MMA is kind of, you're not just throwing haymakers, but there's a lot more at stake. You're jumping off the cage. You're pinning people. Like it's different. Boxing, you got to land the hits in the right spot to really drop the guy. And that to me, I don't know how you guys feel. Boxing will always rank to me above, well, of course WWE, because that's entertainment. That's showmanship pretty much at that point. MMA is close. It's brutal. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a soft sport by any means. I'm saying the technical regard you have to have as a boxer is exponentially
They're
higher.
two different sports.
They're two different sports, right? Because boxing, you've got padded gloves on, and yes, in MMA you do too, but boxers have a little bit more padding on them. You have to land the punch in the right spot. You can't pin them down. You can't hold them down. You can hug, which I hate when boxers do that because I'm like, you're just bailing yourself out. KSI did that a lot, and I was very aggravated watching that. But, I mean, that's really it. I mean, I'm not for the hugging or anything like that. It's just, to me, I think boxing, landing the punches, keeping yourself going upright the entire time and focused just on throwing 1-2s, like that to me is more taxing than pinning someone down and just beating the crap out of them while on top of them on the ground. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. That's my boxing rant for the day. I was not expecting that today, but here we go.
Yeah.
Wacky Wednesdays.
Yeah, Wacky Wednesdays. We're just going all over the place. I mean, I guess while we're still not even on a surgical topic, let's just start talking about the MLB World Series. Dan, I guess we'll swing this over to you and anyone else that wants to jump into the conversation.
How you feeling, buddy?
Yeah, you know,
how are we feeling with it?
It's not.
It's entertaining.
Bad. It's actually, I gotta admit, it's a very entertaining series. I mean, even in the sense that the Rangers have done just lights out stuff to the Diamondbacks. I mean, the Diamondbacks still fight to see another day. I mean, tonight it may be all over. I mean, who knows? Texas might be crowned the champions tonight, which, if they are, they deserve it 150%. They've been one of the best road teams ever in the history of any postseason. I think they have set a new record, or they're about to if they win tonight, with most road wins in playoffs. I know the Panthers last year, Frank, his Panthers made that list at 8. So, I mean, they have just been able to do what they're doing anywhere is just amazing to see. And that they lost Scherzer and Adolis Garcia for the rest of the series is a huge blow that I thought would affect them way more because Garcia's been arguably, I mean, he probably should be crowned the at least the World Series MVP or the MVP of the whole postseason. He has just been on fire. He's been an RBI king. He's been a home run king. The big difference between Texas and Arizona is that Texas is able to be more explosive. They're able to hit home runs. They're able to be confident in hitting deep. With Arizona, they can't do that. They're just too young guys, or they're too many young guys in the sense that they don't have enough muscle. There's not a lot of veteran presence. They're more speedy than anything. I mean, Ketel Marte, if you don't know who that is, he is now the postseason holder for hitting streak. So he is doing an amazing job in his own right. Corbin Carroll, a rookie. Gabriel Moreno, who's been, I think they're sun, moon, stars. I mean, during the season, they lost Moreno to injury, and they just weren't the same without him. And with him back, they've been just as explosive, able to do what they need to. Moreno has been having his bat fly. He's been able to get the RBIs. He's been able to hit a couple of home runs here and there. He's really been the only guy to really hit it out of the park and make sure that team can get on the board. Not saying the rest of the team can't, but he is the main cleanup guy, which is why they are doing so well and being able to stay in games late. Because even though yesterday the Rangers won 11-7 and had a 5-run inning at one point, the Diamondbacks almost came back in the 8th and 9th. They scored 6 runs in the 8th and 9th. So if you're telling me if the Rangers did not score 5 runs in back-to-back innings in the 2nd and 3rd, because they only scored 1 in the 8th after that we could be seeing a different winner here. So it really just depends on who has the best night. Marcus Semien has just appeared out of nowhere, hitting his first home run of the postseason. Corey Seager's been amazing this postseason for the Rangers. He's probably going to win MVP now if Texas does win it tonight, just because of how amazing he's been this World Series. How it would have been Garcia, but since he's hurt, you can't really do anything about it. And the pitching, I think one of the most underrated things in the MLB, just because people don't like it when it gets boring, is the pitching. But they both have decent squads to be able to put out starter day after day and keep going. So, I mean, really, if the Diamondbacks lose tonight, it is not a failure by any means. They have, I think, proven everybody wrong in the world. Nobody expected them to get this far. They are one of the youngest up-and-coming teams in the league that I think everybody still had probably coming fourth in the NL West. I mean, nobody was expecting them to even make the playoffs and to make the World Series, which I think they had the lowest betting odds to make the World Series. So, and win it. I mean, I just think the Diamondbacks have been able to do unthinkable numbers this year. The Phillies deserve to be there. I mean, it's just been who can be your best on what day. And the Rangers so far have been just carrying it along. I mean, me and Frank talked about this a lot, and they were two of the worst teams just 2 years ago. 2 100-loss teams. You would never be thinking 2 years later, oh, hey, they're gonna see each other in the World Series. Just trust me. Just trust me. They're gonna see each other, and they're gonna play their hearts out. And really, you offered me that bet 2 years ago, I bet you $5,000 that doesn't happen. And I would be out $5,000 right now. So, I mean, I would like to hear Frank's opinion about it. I know he's rooting for
we'll hear
Arizona.
about it.
Because he's at work right now. He has to work at the Target, the big red bullseye.
Mm-hmm.
So I know he has different thoughts about this postseason. And I just think either way, it's fair. I think either of these teams, everybody's just kind of rooting for one of them to win. I think more people are trying to support the Diamondbacks. Just because of how young they are, and Texas has still won the World Series very recently, at least 10 years ago. Diamondbacks haven't touched a World Series in 20, so this is their first appearance, I think, since 2001 when they beat the Yankees, and that was when Randy Johnson was still pitching. So either way, these teams have improved so much. They're going to be juggernauts throughout next year. That's basically the postseason picture. And, if Texas wins it tonight, great for them. I hope everybody celebrates. There's no hard feelings, I think, at the end of the day for either of these franchises, because I think they should just be proud they got that far.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I really haven't been paying too much attention to it. Just, kind of focusing on the football and hockey side of things.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when there's not a team I particularly follow in
now,
it. I don't have a lot of
Blue Jays
stake.
were in.
Not the Blue Jays.
No, not the Blue Jays.
Next
they
year.
did make it,
Yeah.
and then they lost horribly to Minnesota.
Chris, what team are you a fan of?
I was rooting for the Phillies.
All right,
Obviously,
that's
would
fine.
have loved to see them in there, but
One of my housemates is a big Phillies fan.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's like Dan said, it's whoever pitching is, the best that day, and it wasn't in Game 7 for that Phillies game, but
They were close.
Yeah, but this World Series, I mean, you never know. Diamondbacks have been down 2 before in the last best of 7 series, so they could possibly come back.
You never know.
The World Series could possibly end tonight, like Dan said, but it's all we'll just have to wait and see.
And we could have a hometown kid with a World Series ring. Jonah Heim, the Rangers catcher.
Could.
So we might be seeing the World Series back here if we ever hear about it, that he's having a parade.
That'd be pretty cool.
It would be.
Yeah.
I think that would be pretty awesome if he came back with the trophy. But they've just done so well being able to step up with the injuries.
Yeah. Let's take a look here to the Sabres game tonight. We'll cover this game for about the next 8 to 9 minutes or so. Then we'll take a break and then come back on the other side and start previewing the Bills versus Bengals Sunday night game, and we'll talk a little bit more just throughout the rest of the NFL. Sabres are set to play tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern on TNT against the Philadelphia Flyers. Obviously, the Sabres coming off a big 4-0 victory the other night against the Colorado Avalanche in Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen's first career shutout. Shout out Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, only having to make 23 saves on the night, but stopping a ton of high danger chances and really cementing that victory for the Sabres as they were able to put goals up on the board. The Flyers now, on the other hand, they started 3-1. They were really hot, but they've lost 4 of their last 5, so they're looking to get back into the win category here. Sabres, they've looked better ever since the 4th game of the season. They've been up and down a little bit, but I really think this Colorado game was going to spark stuff for the Sabres. And I mean, they're going up against an opponent tonight in the Flyers that aren't too strong. They're 4-5 overall in the season. Obviously, they're on a losing skid, but they're not the strongest opponent. So the Sabres should be able to get something going here tonight.
Yeah, I think I predicted their next 3 games. Okay, the 2 Flyers and then who they play, the Leafs. I have them going 3-0. I think they're going to hit their streak at this point in the season. Not hit their streak for the season, I should say, but we've seen they're looking like the team that ended last season now. There's point streaks going on. We don't have guys that are, like Alex Tuch's getting points. He was where he was not to start. So I think the Sabres are finding their rhythm here, and I think they're going to against the Phillies back-to-back and take the Maple Leafs down coming up. I know we'll probably talk about those as they come, but I think they get 6 points here, and a much-needed 6 points after the way the season kind of started slow for them. But I think they're getting right on the right track now.
Yeah, I can definitely see a Sabres win here. I just think that the Flyers still have goaltending problems. But Sabres are trending in the right direction, especially UPL getting, like you said, even his first shutout of his career. They look to be going up, in my eyes, honestly.
Yeah, I think the Sabres need to have these next 2 games at least. I mean, I've said this multiple times before. I love John Tortorella. I would love to see him as the Sabres head coach instead of Don Granato. But, that's a different argument for a different day. But to be in contention, to be up with the Red Wings, the Canadiens, the Lightning, the Maple Leafs, you need to win these next 2 games, no question. I mean, you've had a slow start. Now is the time to pick up 2 games, which should be somewhat easier. I know every time the Sabres face somebody, it's like their goalie becomes the next Dominic Hasek in net. I mean, that's just what happens sometimes. But you would think that they should win both these next 2 games. I think tonight, UPL in goal. I'm going to be my Tanner Saunders. I'm going to be like, UPL, baby. UPL's going to have a second shutout, back-to-back shutouts. The man, the myth, the legend, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. And I think the Sabres are going to win 5-0. I just think that is a fair enough score for me at this point, at least for tonight. And I keep on saying these are 2 games that they need to win, and the main reason is, like Joe said, you have the Maple Leafs third, then you have the Hurricane, the Wild, the Penguins, the Bruins, and the Jets. Yeah. Which are that is a very scary stretch in those next 6 games after these 2. So if you want to pick up any points, now is the time to do it. Build it up a little. Get a win. Probably get 2 or 3 wins within that 6-game stretch, and I'll be happy. But if they lose 1 to the Flyers, there's going to be discussion.
Paul Hamilton reporting Don Granato confirmed that Olsen will be scratched tonight. Levi got through yesterday, and he will back up Luukkonen tonight.
Olsen scratched?
Yes.
So that means we're going to see Jost. Yeah!
Yes, Jost will be back in the lineup.
Good. It works. Please don't change that.
Yeah, keep it.
Please don't change that. If you change that, that means it's over.
Also, the Sabres. The Sabres called up Brandon Byro
Right. And he's gonna
from Rochester, and the lines yesterday were were Gergensons, Krebs, Oposo, Greenway, Thompson, and Byro, Olofsson, Cousins, and Tuck, and then Skinner, Middlestat, and Paterka, and then Jost was the last guy out.
Do we like seeing the young guys with Tage and Greenway? Do you like seeing that?
I kind of do.
Okay. I'm just trying to get a gauge for it. I kind of like it. I kind of don't like it.
It depends. If it works, I like it. If it doesn't, I'm going to be up. You know what I mean?
The only reason I say I don't like it is because you're putting two of your best players on a line with a young guy who can make mistakes. I mean, we saw Zach Benson make, at least a half.
Joe should be in, though, over Olofsson, because Olofsson's scratched, so we will see Joe's tonight.
Right. So I'm just worried about, rookies making mistake and keeping our first line off the ice because, you want to see Tage and Greenway out there as much as you can right now while they're on their hot streaks. So that's probably my only concern.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what goes on with the Sabres lineup. Obviously, we also know Zach Benson is going to be out with for a couple weeks with an injury. And it's just one of those things that, you're going to have to deal with it. It stinks for Benson because he's been banged up a little bit now throughout camp and throughout the regular season to start his time here in Buffalo.
We do have breaking news.
New news?
No news.
New news. Wait.
Whoa.
New news.
What's going on?
The Bills' injury report has come out. But I do not need royal degree music. It's not that long today. Thank God. Thank God. And the best thing about it...
Leonard Fournette.
Joe, you know the best thing about it? What's the best thing about it? That I complain about every time.
It's not long?
No.
What do you mean?
It's about a certain player.
Oh, Allen? Who do you complain about every time?
Cam Lewis!
Oh, yeah,
Joe.
Cam Lewis. That's right.
Cam freaking Lewis!
I should have known.
I broke my phone. My camera's not even facing me right now.
No, I know. The dude just smacked the table.
Smacked
if you're
the
watching on
table.
stream, you just caught that in 4K. Or more like 360p with what we're going to be dealing with. But
So Josh did not practice officially. So he was not limited like people were saying.
Right. I don't think you do practice him. I think you rest him up and get him ready to go. Especially with the mini bye we have, I think it's fine.
Kyrie Elam with his ankle did not practice. DeMar Hamlin with an illness did not practice.
He's doing it again.
He's doing it again. Quentin Morris with his ankle was limited. Bale Inspector with his hamstring did not practice. And then Rasul Douglas did not practice because he just got here. That is quite literally what they have on the injury report. Just got here.
It's an interesting injury.
Love that.
Well,
It is
Love
actually.
that.
I'm actually watching practice videos right now on X. So for the mini X files here, I'm actually seeing.
He's
First of all,
talking to
Jordan
Shaw.
Phillips' puffy coat is back, and he's talking to McDermott. You see that? They're chatting, and then you see Leonard Fournette actually practicing. He's having no trouble adjusting to the weather, like you mentioned. He's in short shorts. And
You see those calves from a mile away.
yeah, I wonder how he got those. They're the Bills' pants. I think he just cut them. Like they're just like
Maybe.
they're up past the middle of his thigh.
And they were even Matt Beauvais.
Oh, here we go.
talked to-
We got another statistic. The Bills are 14-26 in the uniform combination that they're going to be wearing this
Oh, that's great.
Sunday. The white on
Blue,
blue on
blue.
blue.
Yeesh.
14-26.
But
14-26.
great.
That is a
That-
horribly outstanding record
Great.
for uniforms you're going to be wearing against a team that's starting to figure it out.
Great. But talking about Fournette, Joe, when you brought him up, Matt Bove did actually say that he brought up the fight in 2018.
Oh,
and
did he?
Said to Shaq Lawson he won.
He told
Shaq that they won the fight. That Leonard won the fight.
Matt Bove said that to Shaq? Or did
No, Leonard Fournette told Shaq that he won the fight.
that who won the fight? Which
Leonard
one?
won the
okay.
fight.
Yes, okay, now it makes sense. When you said he, I'm like, who's he?
Who's
like
he?
who yeah, like
Matt Bove got into a fight.
Yeah. No, I thought you were saying Leonard Fournette said that Shaq won the fight.
No, he was saying that himself won the fight.
Gotcha. Of course, why not?
He was talking with Deion Dawkins a lot.
He was having some fun, it looked
Yeah.
like, yeah. Listen, I think it's going to work out for a depth running back, especially a power runner. He could also help in the receiving game, too. The question still remains.
Do they get rid of the whole front office?
No, okay. The question still remains, is it going to be playoff Lenny or is it going to be fraudulent Lenny? That's what we're going to have to wait and see.
Or is it he just shows up here once in a while, Lenny? That can always be a thing, too. No comment on that, Joe?
No,
Well-
sorry. I'm watching a guy get carried out of a game by a security team.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like, I kind of want to retweet it and say what the Bills O-line needs to do for Leonard Fournette to even get through the line. You know what I mean?
Lift him up in the air,
They're hoisting him and like carrying him
and then
through.
throw him over the goal
Yeah.
line.
Why can't they do that?
I think that's using players.
I don't think you're technically allowed to carry a player.
Yeah.
They push him. What if his foot
well,
was on the
pushing
ground?
means that you're still...
Yeah, the whole line just gets in a circle around him. You snap the ball right to the running back and you just pump him.
This isn't the flying V, dude.
Come on, that's
This
all.
ain't
That's,
the Mighty Ducks.
yeah, come on, that's what it is.
Okay, what do you want the defenders to do when you have
Dude.
Spencer Brown and Tommy Doyle?
If I was a head coach, I would institute the flying
I don't
V
think
immediately.
Tommy Doyle
I
isn't
think.
healthy.
No, I know he's on IR, but...
Well, then what is he
just-
going to do? Come out a
No.
stretcher?
Why not? He can walk.
He said he's on
carry a
IR.
dude.
Like, what do you want him to do? Come out like...
Yeah, he can come and carry a dude.
Here's the thing.
Look, Tommy Doyle's 6'8", Spencer Brown is 6'9".
I don't know if Tommy Doyle can even walk
You
right
need
now.
one guy
I
on the
don't care
front.
if he can walk or
You
not.
need
He
you
can
need a
lift somebody.
You need a plow formation. You need the one guy on the front, right? And then you got to have like a circle around him, around Lenny. And you just got to have like Spencer Brown or Dion, whoever the biggest guy is. Even let's bring out Poona Ford for this, right? Like just stick him on the front of the line, have him snap the ball back to Fournette under center, and just tank down the field. Just tank. Imagine doing that every play, Dan. You would go get a touchdown.
No, just I would love to.
You
imagine,
would.
I mean,
You get a touchdown every drive.
I would love to imagine that Leonard Fournette lines up behind the center, behind Mitch Morse, and then you just have, instead of like Gabe Davis and whoever else would be there, James
Grape?
Cook on the side or Gilliam on the side. You
Grape
have,
Davis.
You have your two tallest guys, so you have Spencer Brown, and even though he's not there right now, Harrington, Tommy Doyle, and Leonard Fournette just gives himself up. They just pick him up like the figure skaters, and they just carry him over. I would love that. That would be the perfect picture I think we could ever draw of just the perfect playoff. The brotherly shove, why not the heavenly float?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a nice play.
I mean, you guys want to take a quick break here and come back and we'll talk Bills-Bengals?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at Grape Davis right now on the stream if you're interested.
Davis.
So
Grape Davis,
We pulled up Grape Davis. So, yeah, if you
All
want to take a break, we're good.
We'll be back here
Oh,
in just a
jeez.
few moments, back on the Blitz. And when we come back, we'll be talking Bills versus Bengals as they are set to play this Sunday on Sunday Night Football. See you guys in just a few moments. Welcome back to the Blitz on 91.3 FM WBNY, 91.3 FM WBNY, Buffalo's original alternative station since 1982, brought to you by the Buffalo State Student Activity Fee. Oh,
I kind of want to do the SpongeBob thing. Like,
Holy
oh,
night.
brother, this guy stinks. Like, what? Oh, holy night, we're coming back with.
I looked up instrumental Christmas music on YouTube, and this is what came up.
No copyright infringement. Got to keep it clean. No top 40.
I mean, I'm in the Christmas mood now. ever since last night.
We haven't even eaten Thanksgiving dinner
Yes,
yet,
but
okay?
ever
like, come on.
I'm normally one that is, why are people in the Christmas mood around Thanksgiving or before Thanksgiving? But ever since that snow and calling the game, I was like, man, beautiful snow weather. I'm in a Christmas mood.
It's just an interesting choice coming back. This is one of the slower Christmas songs.
Yeah.
I actually sang this in Disney one time.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have footage?
There is footage online. Anthony Mackie, the Falcon, was our guest speaker when we did it. So we got to see him, yeah.
Really? What year was this?
So there's
2016?
Was this for
2017?
school?
Yeah. Yep.
For like chorus?
Yep.
Really?
Got to go to Disney for 4 days.
Wow.
Yeah. And we
Okay,
got to
we're
sing in the
going to
Candlelight
the
Processional.
In Disney World.
Yep. There were two. The night before, I think it was Chris Pratt. They were both Marvel guys that did it, though. I don't know if the specific one's on YouTube or anything like that, but I'll find it. There's got to be. There's archival footage somewhere.
Good to know. Good to know.
What song you sing?
It was a medley. This was one of them, like
Okay.
the Hallelujah chorus, all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That's usually how.
Well, they
Christmas
tell
chorus
a Christmas story, and you sing in between. Like he cues you up, and then the chorus
Oh.
sings. You know what I'm saying?
It's one of those performances
Yeah.
where it's just like,
And we're all in the shape of like a Christmas tree with like an actual professional chorus in the middle of us, and then we're on the outside. So it was kind of cool, like to be a part of. But yeah, long time ago. It was 2016, 2017.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Make that
Then we
sound
went
like
to New
that was
York
forever.
City 2 years later. I got to see King Kong the musical on Broadway for its very short run before it was canned.
Why was it canned? Do you know why?
It was horrible. It was one of the worst ones I've ever seen in my life.
Are you a big Broadway musical guy?
Oh, yeah, I love them. Yeah.
You see Hamilton in person?
Mm-hmm. Twice I have. Love it.
I saw it once.
Saw Wicked. That's probably 5 times I've seen Wicked. I just love
I've heard
it.
Wicked's good.
Yep. That's a good one. What else have I seen? The Lion King I've seen a couple times live.
Are these all at Shays?
A couple of them on Broadway. Most are at Shays, yeah. Wicked I saw at Shays and on Broadway. And then The Little Mermaid was at Shays one time too, and there was a cheap ticket. So I was like, you know what? We'll go to Shays. Why not, right?
can't go wrong with a cheap ticket, right?
No, I mean, come on.
You know what? We should all go to a musical.
I'm down.
The Blitz takes on Shays.
Listen, you're talking to the right guy over here. Like, I would love that.
And
Like,
we should sit there. StreamYard viewers, you can see this. We're going to be sitting there with all our fancy clothes on, our clipboard, and we're going to critique these musicals, and we're going to come back to the Blitz and just spend 2 hours talking about musicals.
Nothing wrong with that.
no,
I don't know if I could talk 2 hours about a musical.
All right?
I don't know
could.
if I can personally.
Come on, Dan. Be better.
You're talking to a guy who
Be a
barely
team player.
watches movies.
Be a team player.
Look, I'm not saying I wouldn't show up. I
Nope,
just
nope,
said,
nope. You're muted.
You're done.
You're done.
I'm never done.
You know, doesn't want to be a team player.
Yikes.
Doesn't want to be a team player. Speaking of teams and players,
Team Christmas.
yes, Josh Allen and Joe Burrow are set to face off one-on-one this Sunday night.
Is this a
as
trap
the Buffalo
game?
Bills and Cincinnati Bengals are set to take on each other? Big AFC matchup here. Obviously, the Bills 5-3 and the Bengals 4-3. The Bengals starting off the year 0-2. Joe Burrow not looking good with his injury, but it looks like he's fully healed up now from that calf strain that he suffered in preseason in training camp. He looks good. Joe Burrow has looked very good. He's been playing some really good football over the past few weeks. So is Josh Allen. Josh Allen's been very good this season. Might make an argument for him being the MVP favorite this year. But we have a very star-studded matchup this Sunday, Bills versus Bengals. What are your guys' quick thoughts on it?
I'm nervous. Especially with the way the Bengals have been playing versus the way the Bills have been playing, trending down versus trending up. Yeah, they won against the Bucs. It still was a close game at the end of the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your punt. I'm not mad about the punting. I'm not, because Sam Martin had a great day. But at the same time, you should not be going 2 straight drives. And the penalties on defense need to stop, because that killed the Bucs game. the Bills play a clean game with very little penalties, very few penalties, and keep the ball moving on offense and play tempo and do what they did last time and surprise the Bengals, your defense is a little deflated, right? You have injuries. Your offense needs to step up and get the job done for you, and that's what we have to see. And I'm a little nervous about it. I'm going to be honest with you, realistic about it. I'm not going to say they don't have a chance or they're a guaranteed win. The line is 2.5 yesterday, the last time I looked, for a reason in the Bengals' favor. They're not giving them the full 3 points for home. They know this could be a toss-up. So it's just like, it's going to come down to whatever team. It's going to be one of those games, I think, personally, where it's back and forth scoring. Whatever team misses a drive score is going to be the one that falls, unfortunately.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Joe. I mean, I think it's going to be a close one for sure. It's in Cincinnati. Obviously, going back from last year, the Bills are going to obviously want a little revenge from the playoff game. But like you said, if Josh Allen can play a clean game, if the defense, can step up a little bit. Obviously, they stepped up against the Buccaneers, but, Tampa Bay is Tampa Bay. But all in all, I think if, Josh Allen plays like Josh Allen, I think the Bills can squeak by with a win in Cincinnati if, going back, like you said, Joe, playing a clean game for the Bills.
Yeah. Dan?
Sorry, I lost my train of thought. What are we talking about? Sorry.
The Bengals-Bills game.
Oh, Bengals-Bills game?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think there is some revenge in some cases. I also think that there is a sense of wanting to prove people wrong. I mean, we've seen that the Bills have proved it against people wrong against the Chiefs in the regular season. Everybody said, oh, they can't beat them in the postseason. They can't beat them in the regular season. Of course, the Bills said, no, we can beat them in the regular season. We can beat them. So I think this is just a prove-it game. I don't know how much revenge is really in this game. I mean, probably, I don't know, maybe you want to sack T. Higgins or sack Joe Burrow a little bit
Did
more.
you ever turn his mic back on, Evan?
No.
So you never...
No. No.
No.
I actually have to boogie. I forgot about a commitment I had. Evan, do you have access to turn the StreamYard off?
No, I don't know. Oh.
So we're gonna. I can let it go no matter what. I'll have to log back in and stop it, which is fine. Oh yeah, Evan can stop it because he's on the Buffalonian StreamYard, so you're good.
Yeah, I can end recording.
Yep. So when you're done, just end the recording. But it's been great, fellas. I'll talk to you on Friday. Sorry, forgot I had something I had to do. ADD mind,
All right. Well, that is doing it for Joe Cali on the Blitz tonight. Sorry, Dan, for forgot I muted your mic.
Yeah, no, it's okay. No, I don't think it's I'll just repeat it. It's not a revenge game. I think it's just a prove-it game where they want to show the rest of the world, hey, we can beat them on any given night. We just got unlucky one night. Let's go at it again. We're a little bit better. You're at least feeling a little bit better. So I think it should be a shootout. Nonetheless, I don't think there's going to be really any difference if it's in Buffalo or if it's in Cincinnati. We're both loud places with both energetic fans. So I just think it's a prove-it game.
Yeah, obviously this would be a big game for the Bills. Obviously, going forward, the Bills have a shot to get first in the division this week, actually, because Miami faces Kansas City. If Kansas City beats Miami and the Bills beat Cincinnati, the Bills are going to have official rights to first place in the AFC East, which I think would be very huge going forward, because then the Bills already have a game in Miami. If they can continue to win and just outpace Miami, they won't have to worry about just making the playoffs, because they'll have playoffs clinched already with winning the AFC East. I know it's still only not even halfway fully through the season yet, but there's still a lot of time to go, but that the Bills could be putting themselves in a better situation. Dan, you had a game for us to play. The Immaculate Grid.
Always.
Chris, you ready for the Immaculate Grid?
Yeah, let me just pull it up on... All right, I got it.
If you've never played Immaculate Grid before, it's a 3x3 grid, 3 teams, or a stat on the top and then 3 teams on the rows. Today's Immaculate Grid on the top is the Minnesota Vikings, the Carolina Panthers, and a new stat line. Only one team. So this player has to have only played with that team their entire career. And then on the rows, it is the Chicago Bears, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Baltimore Ravens.
All right, I got it pulled up here too. So basically, we have to pick a player that only played for one team.
Right, their entire career. They had to either play with Chicago their entire career, Philly with their entire career, and
Baltimore, Ray Lewis.
Yeah. You can just go Ray Lewis right off the gate. I had a good one for Philly, Minnesota. Jalen Rager.
Yep. That's...
Wow, 39%. I did not expect people to know that.
Bears, Vikings. Oof. I feel like there's a running back.
That's tough. Because of how little crossover they do. Or probably there is way more crossover than I'm thinking about, but...
Only one team, Bears.
Was Nick
Brian
Foles,
Urlacher?
Was Nick Foles no, that's Case Keenum. Was Case Keenum a Bear at any point?
No, I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
I'm trying to think. PJ Walker, what team is he on right now? Is he on the Bears?
Is on... No, he's not on the Bears. I wouldn't think he is, or else they would probably be using him. It's a Bagnet.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I'm mixing the team up that he's on. No, he's on Cleveland, that's what it is.
Ah, yeah. There you go. That's PJ Walker.
Trying to think.
Deonta Foreman.
That's who it was. Foreman with the Bears and Panthers.
Yeah. Panthers and Bears. 8%. Not bad at all.
One team, Brian Urlacher for the Bears.
Yeah, I think that would work. I don't think
he's been on a...
Yep, you're right. 16%.
Eagles one team.
I did Jason Kelsey.
Yeah, that should work.
Yeah,
it's at 25 though.
That's fine. Let's see. Carolina Eagles.
Miles Sanders is one, but that's like recent.
Yeah, but I don't know how many more.
Yeah. No, that's exactly it. Miles Sanders.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many.
Good
more.
job, Chris.
It would be 62%. Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, we got 3 more. Bears, Vikings. Oh. Players.
Wow.
Panthers, Ravens. There's a receiver. Devin Funches didn't play for the Ravens.
Steve Smith Sr.
Yes, good job. I knew it was a receiver. I'm just like, which
right
one?
As you said receiver, it clicked something in my head.
74 for that one.
Yeah, that's a lot. A lot of people like Steve Smith.
Yeah, can't go wrong with him. Pretty good receiver.
All right, 74%. Yep. 2 left.
Both Minnesota. Bears or
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
What do you call it?
Oh my God! A call this late in the show. Oh jeez, Chris. I don't
I'm
know.
stumped on this Bears Minnesota one.
Where you calling from?
I don't know why.
Jeez. Teddy Bridgewater didn't do anything with either of those teams. I don't remember. Let's see. Minnesota, Baltimore. I don't think they did any. I mean, they had to do somebody, but you just don't know.
I was going to say Odell, but then I forgot he didn't go to Minnesota.
Fair. Fair. Kind of fair guess. Purple. Man. Would have been really nice if there was some trade that I could remember. Hence, it was the trade deadline 2 days ago. Or yesterday.
I don't know why these ones are stomping
Minnesota's just hard, man. Who likes Minnesota?
me.
No one likes Minnesota. Come on. Jeez. Sam Bradford? No.
I don't think he
Joe
went to-
Flacco? No. RG3? No. It's like you're just going through
Yeah,
all
you
that
just-
you can remember. Let's see. Tight end. I don't think there's anybody there. I know it's not Kyle Rudolph. I know the same with the Bears and Vikings. I know it's not Kyle Rudolph.
I mean, they're in the same division, though, right?
Right, it's hard
so
to
it's like,
pick up
Yeah.
a person who could have played for both. It is very hard to be like, oh yeah, I definitely know a guy.
Yeah, I mean, I know Bridgewater went to Minnesota, but I'm just trying to.
Bridgewater started out with Minnesota,
Yeah.
but then he went to
Like, was he on a practice squad? Maybe.
practice squad doesn't count.
Oh, it
You have to
doesn't.
take
Okay.
You have to take it down.
Got it.
So you had to at least play a one game at some point. Wow.
This is this is a really tough one for me.
Adrian Peterson? No. Does N'Keal Harry work?
Maybe.
I would like to try that for Bears
Bears Vikes.
Bears
or-
Vikings. I remember him on the Bears and I remember him on the Vikings, but I don't know if he took it down. But I'm gonna take the risk. I was right, 3%.
Look at that.
3%,
Love
baby,
to
on
see
N'Keal
it.
Harry.
Love to see it.
So we just have Minnesota, Baltimore.
So who did you get for what?
Bears, Vikings, N'Keal Harry.
Yeah, I was okay. I heard that.
And then now we're just at Minnesota,
Sort of-
Baltimore,
Yeah.
which for the life of me, I don't know a person.
I'm with you on that one, Dan. I can't. I'm
Great.
like trying
I'm
to.
glad I'm not alone. I'm just glad I'm not
How
alone.
are you
I'm
spelling
just like-
N'Keal Harry?
Just do the N and then the apostrophe, and then it should show up.
Minnesota, Baltimore.
Minnesota, Baltimore. This has to be a running back.
I tried Adrian Pearson, but that
No,
doesn't
Yeah, I don't
work.
think Peterson went to Baltimore.
He went to a lot of other places.
Yeah.
Mark Ingram doesn't work.
Irv Smith? No, he's not playing.
Irv Smith is a tight end who went to Cincy.
Yes.
He did play in Baltimore, or Minnesota rather. Tried Kyle Rudolph, and Rudolph doesn't work. I
I
didn't try it, but
I have one guess.
Hmm?
I think we all have one guess.
Yeah.
Oh, there's got to be an old timer. Like some sort of. We're a little over time here, but we're going to continue until we're done here.
That's off by a minute, so we have a minute.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, but no name is coming to.
Do
the
we
top.
just want to give up? I mean, this is, I think, the first time I've actually.
I'm going to give up.
I don't know anybody, or at least
I'll give
nobody's-
up, and then where do I see to check who it was?
You just scroll down. So I got a 354 variety score. Zadarius Smith. I did not think of Zadarius Smith.
Oh.
Randall
38 players.
Cunningham could have been one.
Let's see. Randall Cunningham.
Yeah.
I did not know that. They actually played.
I didn't know he played for Baltimore.
Mike
yeah.
Wallace,
Mike Wallace.
Latavius Murray, our
Oh my
very
God.
own.
Yeah.
Why did we not think of
Well,
that?
I did say a running back, but I
You
didn't really
did.
I
You
didn't
were
really
right.
think.
I don't know anybody else at least.
Yeah, I
right
don't-
now looking at this.
Neither
Michael Pierce, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was,
But
yeah,
I
that
didn't
was
know he played for Minnesota.
fairly because he went from Minnesota, signed to Baltimore.
Yeah. It was like a weird stretch.
I think that's gonna do it potentially.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's going to do it.
All right, before we sign off officially here, I just want to say my name has been Evan Harrington alongside Dan Double D Dale in Studio A, and now alone in Studio C is Chris Jacobello. Socials, Chris, we'll start with you.
You can follow me at X or Twitter, whichever you still want to call it, at CJacobello17.
Dan?
You can follow me on X at _D capital WNY, and you can also see it on the fancy recording that we have now.
And you can also follow myself, Evan Harrington, on Instagram at Evan Harrington _63 and on Twitter at EvanH _716. Dan, also shout out the Blitz Instagram.
Oh, the Blitz Instagram, the best Instagram name in the world. The _Blitz _on _91.3 _FM. I think. Water ball has been thrown at me. Throw it back.
All right, just want to say thank you for everyone tuning in and listening to The Blitz. We will see you guys Friday. Once again, this has been The Blitz on 91.3 FM WBNY, Buffalo's original alternative station since 1982. Brought to you by the Buffalo State Student Activity Fee. Everyone, take care. Have a great rest of your day. And most importantly, let's go, Buffalo.